Welcome to this week's edition of the Paulding County High School Football Coaches Show. I'm Coach Brian Voyles, and with me is head coach Scott Hamiton. Coach, before we get into last night's game, I want to talk about two things. One, our sub-varsity seasons came to an end over the past 2 weeks. Both our freshmen and our JV teams finished with winning records. They are both 4-2. That's a big deal. That's something probably we couldn't say as a staff and as a program for many years. I know specifically with JV. Can you kind of give us your thoughts on what that means as a program and what that does for the morale, for the kids, for the school kind of going forward?
It's one of the goals. I think I must have talked about it all summer, but since I've got the job, it's trying to build from the bottom up. A house with a bad foundation is not going to be very good, and sort of easy identifiable that when our sub-varsity programs are suffering so bad. But I think this is the first time that honestly, it's probably the first JV game we won in about 5 years. And so, it's one thing I had identifiable, we got to fix this somehow. And it starts off by, holding kids down a little bit, playing them with their age group, with their class, and, sort of building some momentum, getting them used to winning. Because when they get used to losing, unfortunately, as, Vince Lombardi said, winning's a habit, but unfortunately, so is losing. Right. And they used to losing as that class, and it's hard to translate to, so we're going to win now. So it's been sort of like a point to try to, build the program, not the team. And they both went 4-2. Really proud of how they played. They've scored a lot of points. They played good.
JV specifically scored over 40 points 4 times.
Yeah, I think Coach Milton did stats that they scored. I think it was 229 points and gave up 96.
Right.
Which is in 6 games is it's pretty good. So really proud of them, and what that does too is it keeps the numbers up. There's more, as I look through our program, there's less seniors, a few more juniors, but there's a lot more sophomores. And that's the first class had a winning season. As a freshman, it sort of carries on. Maybe go down to some of our middle school programs. Our 8th grade plays for the region championship tonight versus a Stars Middle team. They made the playoffs, which I felt what seed they're going to be in now. But I hope that bodes well for the future. The fact the kids are getting used to winning and moving on. But sometimes you're not winning the varsity. It's hard to see that. But as far as a program, 8-4 is a lot better than last year when we went 4-8.
Right.
And the year before that when we went 3-9.
Right.
Is the two programs combined. So that's taken a while, but it's been something that we talk about every day. And we've as coaches, I think the coaching staff did a good job about taking ownership of coaching the JV kids as hard as they did the varsity kids. And I think that's going to pay some dividends in the future.
Good deal. I certainly agree with that. And another positive coming off the past couple weeks, I know the last show that we did, it was mentioned that you were nominated for an award for your player of the day. And since the last show, we received some news attention and had some publicity and been on the news, local and even national in some instances.
I love this story. He's making superstars out of the special needs students, and it's carrying over to the entire student body. Donna Lowry here to tell us the person leading all this is someone you might expect to be tough-nosed and man-up kind of guy, but he's really got a heart of gold.
I know. He's a head football coach, so you expect tough guy, but he is quietly helping the school become more caring and compassionate. Don't get me wrong, Scott Hamiton is a tough guy who wants to win, but he's also a big softy, especially when it comes to kids with special needs.
It's a classic.
Game day at Paulding County High. Afternoon pep rally, nighttime, game time. Leading the way, Austin Beal and Levi Bishop.
We don't get the opportunity to see our children like everybody else does. No, God, I can't let me cry. Okay, so anyway, but it's just, it's hard to even say. It's very touching. They're like part of the team.
They're designated players of the day, chosen by head football coach Scott Hamiton.
It's really the highlight of my day. Even if we, win or lose, that's the highlight of my day. Ready for your jersey, Levi?
At the start of a home game day, Hamilton surprises at least one special needs student with a football shirt, signaling the day of honor, and they just love it.
Was he a good guy?
Because he likes me.
They beam and shine as part of the team. From the pep rally to the workout to getting on the bus for the pre-game dinner.
It just changes their view of the school because this is their chance to be part of everybody else. They get to run through, hear everybody clap for them and stuff.
All thanks to Coach Hamiton.
I've always enjoyed being around special needs students.
And through him, the football players feel the same way.
It makes them a better kid to know these kids and to be able to support them. Honestly, I don't even think Coach Hamiton realizes what it does for them. And us. Us as parents.
Scott Hamilton, Paulding County High School, one class act.
He really, really is. I want to thank the athletic director for Paulding County Schools, Don Breedlove, for nominating him. And you can find the nomination form the way he did on 11live.com/class act. Don't we love hearing those stories?
I don't think Coach Hamilton knows what it does to us either.
I know, it's really great what he
See how
does.
happy those kids were running out there, leading the team out onto the field.
And
And
those
how great
parents.
for the players, too, to just realize, high school football players think the world revolves around them. It's just something that happens. What a great thing to open their eyes.
Yeah,
to
and
that.
it changes them. It changes them,
love
too.
That. Oh, thank you,
Good.
Donna.
Just give us another brief synopsis of what that is and any kind of attention and feedback you've received from the media recognition.
It's really almost sort of embarrassing, never just for any part of it, attention or anything like that. We talk about building a program you want it to go through and get and do the right things and develop the whole person. If you look back, I'm a history guy, taught history for many years, but the difference between Athens and Sparta, that Athens influenced the world a lot more than Sparta has, because Sparta only developed the physical side of the person, whereas Athens said we're going to develop both sides, and it's made a much more successful culture. Whereas that's what we tried to do. The Player of the Day program was just a way to involve some kids otherwise wouldn't be involved in any athletics or anything at school. We took a special needs child and let him come dress out with it. Well, not dress out, but he gets a jersey on Fridays and gets to hang out with us after the game, and then he gets to go to the game and eat pregame meal and run through. And I think the big thing they like to do is run through the tunnel. Right. So, and it's a great part of the game, and it definitely makes you feel good. And it means a lot to those kids, and they're great kids, and it teaches our kids a little bit of compassion. Realize no matter I'm upset, maybe I'm not playing, or maybe I may lose the game, but see the pure unadulterated joy of a child. Because that's a lot of us become jaded over the years, right. And we lost our innocence, and those kids are so innocent. Not only helping them, it's really turned around the benefits that we get out of it are much greater than what they're getting, and something I tried to do. But I didn't mean for the attention, but I hate to use the word viral, but it started with locally with 11 Alive and got picked up by the Today Show, then ended up on the NBC Nightly News. I've actually been contacted by a couple of talk shows, maybe coming on that. I'm not sure where that's going to go, but. As far as the attention of the program, I'm glad our kids got viewed in a positive light, because there's so many things they view as what's a stereotypical football player, or what's the bad news you see in high schools constantly. It's nice to see that. When I also comment, our kids, have done some good things, like we did the pink out night, whereas wearing pink out's sort of cool. But and this is actually on the class notes on 11 Live. If you go to that, but they raised $700 for breast cancer awareness, and we donated to one of our mothers is actually going through breast cancer at the moment before the game, and sort of a closed ceremony. And we're real proud of our kids. If you looked at you're a stat guy, but we're almost 70% free and reduced lunch. And if people don't know what that means for a school, that means almost 67% of our kids live below the poverty line. Which, if you look at those numbers up, it's a really scary number. But for them to come out and raise $700, which is about $7 a kid for the program, is a pretty impressive feat for our kids. I was really proud of that, because I didn't give them a lot of direction with that. I said, okay, that's what you got to do, and they took ownership and did it. And that's sort of what we're looking for. Granted, we all say it's not about wins, and it's not. We obviously want to win, but seeing the kids do that makes you feel better. It feels like you're coaching for the right reasons.
Right. And I can tell you, but between the player of the day and our pick out efforts, when I'm out in the community and in different things, I definitely hear things about our program and people very proud and inspired of what we're doing. And I'm proud to be on staff and proud to be a part of that. Okay, so what we're here to talk about, played a game last night, beating county rival, top 10 state-ranked team. We go to North Paulding, big crowd, cold night, nice atmosphere. Didn't get the result we wanted. It was a tough night. We moved the ball offensively in the first half, specifically the second quarter, but unfortunately, a trend that we've talked about on the show before is getting down the field, getting close to the end zone, and not being able to cash in. So let's kind of get your thoughts on the first half, what we did. We made a change at quarterback, and just kind of your thoughts on what led up our preparation for the game in the first half.
One of the great stats, I think, I played football with for Jimmy Dorsey, and I was talking to Jimmy one time. He said, for every sophomore you start, you're going to have a loss. Look out on the field, we got 4 freshmen on offense, 4 sophomores on offense, 2 freshmen on defense, or 2 sophomores on defense and a freshman. So that's 7 sophomores or below starting. So if you look at our record, it sort of fits in right where we are. And because when you're that young, they're going to make sophomore mistakes. Bailey Johnson, started at quarterback, and I want to talk a little bit about the guy who started before us. I have a huge amount of respect for Corn, who started, and I know he made a switch, but Corn didn't play football up until 9th grade. Never played quarterback in 10th grade, and we didn't have a JV quarterback. So Corn, we need you to play the JV quarterback. He said, yes, sir. He's always done it, and he's taken a lot of heat for not playing well at times, but that's a great kid, and he's really overcome a lot. And to go from never have thrown a football to now you're throwing in front of a few thousand people was pretty impressive. And he never griped, never complained, shows up with a great attitude, and he's a great kid, gonna be a great person. But Bailey stepping in, there's a lot of pressure for him. Had some real bright spots. But as all young kids, they sort of ride the emotional roller coaster and got down on themselves there in the third. And that's something I think he'll get better at. But when you're young, you're gonna make young mistakes, and we do. Drop the touchdown pass in the end zone. 2 sophomores trying to make a play that. It's hard for sophomores to do that at the time.
Right. And just to go back about Corn Dajinski real quick, I coach the wingbacks, and he's too good of an athlete not to have on the field somewhere. So this week we really repped him there, and he got reps at quarterback as well. And he got tremendous playing time last night at wing. So that just shows you his dedication. He didn't hang his head when we made a switch. He wants to do what's best for the team, and like you're saying, he works hard for us. He's a great kid, and he definitely had a good night for us there, very productive. But like you said as well, we're asking sophomores to make plays for us, and sometimes in big situations, nerves are going to get involved, and I definitely, like you're alluding to in the second quarter with the drop, a touchdown pass, that's going to happen. Just kind of moving on from there, the first half, the way it goes, we had 166 yards of offense in the first half. It was 151 rushing, 15 passing, something like that. So obviously we were running the ball. We were getting we were moving the line, get stuff going. Thomas had 14 carries for 84 yards in the first half. But throwing the ball, we weren't as efficient as we probably could have been. Just kind of talk to us a little bit about how efficiency in the passing game is going to help us run the ball in this offense.
Everybody thanks for watching us. We feature ball with Thomas, who got hurt last night. We hope he's okay this morning. I was going to the doctor today, but everybody thinks, well, you don't want to throw the ball, do this, do that. We do want to throw the ball. The big thing about throwing the ball is doing it efficiently, and at correct times, and there's a lot that goes into it. And once again, you're starting a sophomore quarterback. There's so many things he's got to think about and remember and do this. Oh yeah, got to throw it here, and then the guy's got to run the right route. Our leading receiver is a sophomore again, Antonio Golden. And it's throwing the ball at the correct times. You got to throw it at the correct times, and then you got to be able to make the play. And it's such a confidence thing with throwing the ball. You got to sort of have some success to reach some success. And You know, he did good at times. It was a little too sporadic.
Right.
You know, missed a couple of reads there where we had some easy throws, or should have made some easier throws, and we didn't do that. You know, that's just going to make us better as we get along because it makes people defend the field.
Right.
You know, and once again, it's hard. You know, our left tackle was a sophomore, so you know he's going to give us some pressure sometimes because he doesn't. You know, Andrew got there in first start, and you know, played really hard, really well, but he's going to make a few mistakes.
Right.
It's just, you know, this is not making excuses, but it's just like looking at, like, if you look at a horse, Secretariat wasn't very good, you know, until as he gets a little bit older and grows into his body. It's like a young colt fumbling around.
Right.
It'll be a beautiful horse one day, but it takes a little while for it to grow to his body. And I look out there at some of our kids sometimes, and that's what I feel like watching, because they'll put it together one time, and the next play they'll look like they can't walk.
Right.
You know, and it's hard. It's tough to watch, and you know, as a coach, you want to win right now, but if you're doing it the right way, you're not going to do that. I have a hard time believing that. But you know, as far as that, but all those kids come back, they've got the experience. They're going to be better. And you can watch from our JV. When I'm playing kids of their age group, it's an impressive looking group, and they play hard and they're physical.
Right.
We start 6, we probably play about 10.
Right.
You know, and then the class right behind, you know, above them, those juniors are starting. You know, you can see the development they've got.
Right.
And I was talking to one of our seniors. You know, they've went through sort of a rough 4 years. You know, they didn't win as 8th graders or 9th graders, but the kids have stayed out there, have stayed with it, and they played hard. You know, the freshman year, due to some outside circumstances, they didn't get to lift weights, and Blake Chapin made sure statement to coach, you know, those juniors are strong as us because we didn't get to lift our freshman year, and now they spend much time as weight rooms we have. That cost you, you know, that year cost you when that happens. Hopefully the future's very bright, though.
Right.
All those guys running around out there, you know, our freshman class played really well.
Right.
You know, they lost to Rome's JV, so they really, to the freshman groups, they went 4-1.
Right.
So I think that they had a great year.
Right.
You know, really good players down that grade. Like I say, it's a long process to get better, and it's, you know, and one of the things I tell our kids all the time right now is about, you got to learn. Paulding County beats Paulding County right now pretty repeatedly.
Right.
And it's a hard thing. You know, it's a hard thing to get over. Is when you know, it's like they go, oh no, here we go again. It's hard to mentally break that cycle.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then, as we alluded to earlier, you know, as our you know, this was our first time our JVs had wins in, you know, not just a winning season such a long time. So you know, we're getting better at moving up. So we're hopeful that the winning will transfer to the varsity level very soon. I definitely think we have the pieces intact to do that. And like you're alluding to as well, it is difficult for folks to understand, you know, specifically on the outside, what it takes to truly build a program. And I think you specifically are doing a great job of building from the ground up. And that's what it takes. You can't come in and win immediately. You want to win from every level, from the top down. And that's definitely, I think, the approach we're taking. And you know, we will reap the benefits very soon, I believe.
Yeah. If you look at the freshman level, you know, 3 years ago the freshmen went 3-4. Last year they went 4-3.
Right.
This year they went 4-2.
Right.
You know, meanwhile the JV course went 0-4-0. And I know, but that freshman group that has gone 4-3 has now turned around to, because this year we didn't have to play. You know, we started a lot of sophomores. We still had enough of a sophomore group that stayed with us and are out and were successful.
Right.
You know, that's been sort of one of the things I'm really proud of, is watching, you know, the kids, you know, in the sophomores that started, we played them on JV for, you know, 2 quarters. You know, they took that as an opportunity for them to get better, and really, you know, some of the sophomores, Malik Rush and Andre Ledford, sort of excelled playing down there. You know, Bailey got a bunch of playing time, and the offensive line got better. You know, it once again, though, it's just it is a slow process, but if you're going to do it correct, do it the right way, you know. Yeah, because always somebody said, you know, if you have a crack in the foundation, that's going to turn around and show at some point in time. And I'm hopefully that's going to be the trend, as those kids will they're used to winning, so they'll just slide up and go, wow, we're supposed to win.
Right, and it's definitely a mentality. So back to the game, 21-0 at halftime. You know, got ourselves in a 21-0 hole in the first quarter. Started moving the ball well late in the first quarter, second quarter. Kind of our defense came up big and stopped in the second quarter. So it was 21-0 at half. We come out, we receive the ball, quick 3-and-out, punt the ball, and then on 2 consecutive possessions, they score on either 1 or 2 play drives.
Yeah.
And the whole increases. And so kind of, second half wasn't great, but kind of give us kind of the synopsis of how the game finished.
The third quarter, it's we go out there and we don't play well, and it gets bad, and we make a few mistakes, and ball gets on the ground, and made the quarterback change again. Played another quarterback at that time. It's just that, and little things go wrong, they seem to pile up, and then the North's got it going on around Scott Young. That staff is, they've done a good job of getting their kids, and they jumped on us at that time, and as a coach, I did some things. I went forward on 4th down, just trying to keep the ball away from them to try to keep the score down, but backfired. And when you do that as a coach, I didn't do a very good job of keeping the score down. I could have done a few things to try to keep some points off the board, and I didn't do that. I was a little aggressive trying to, get maybe the score to say 35-14 or 35-21, and when I did that, it backfired, and all of a sudden it's 42. As a coach, that's sort of on me for not trying to play the ball down, but it's once again catch-22 situation. Be aggressive as a coach and say, hey, we're trying to win, or play it close to the vest, and you're going to lose either way. But I guess it's how you lose. But I could have done a better job of keeping that score a little bit closer, but I didn't. But our kids continued to play hard. We got down in the 4th quarter with a chance to score, and had another turnover. And turnovers are talk about meaningful stats. Turnovers are the meaningful stat in football, because it's a loss of possession. It gives the other team a possession. And North does a great job on offense, and they made us pay. Getting those guys enough shots, they're going to find the guy. And
they're going to score their points.
Yes, and they do a good job with it. Once again, though, we had some key injuries. Some guys in the secondary got hurt, and just adds to the problem. Once again, you go from having this kid out there, and all of a sudden you look up and there's a freshman in the secondary against a team that throws the ball extremely well. But he responded, caused some fumbles. Dante Ruffin's going to be a very good player.
Right.
Once again, maturity process. North has done a really good job. Coach Webb, I believe, laid the foundation in North. Coach Jones came in and took them to a level. But they'd already established the fact they were really good. Their middle schools have been really good. Their ninth grades have been very consistently winning, and they're ahead of us in the process of where they want to be. I know it's Coach Jones is in his 2nd year, but when he got the job, there's so many things already in place.
Right.
Whereas at Paulding, when he got the job, it had gotten the first year there, we were extremely weak as a football team. Numbers were down.
Right.
Staff was, we didn't have many coaches. It's been an overhaul in the whole thing. But I think we've made the progress. But once again, though, because in the past some of our seniors didn't get, or behind a year developing in things that it shows on them sometimes. Not their fault. It's just the way it played out for them, and I feel bad for them.
Right. So the game finishes up. It's 42-7 defeat for us. It puts us on 2-7 for the year. Finished the game with 255 yards of total offense, or 261. 209 yards, or 262, I should say. 209 yards of offense and 54 yards passing. So a decent night offensively, and it's leading us into our season finale against South Paulding. It's another county rival. Geographically, the school's pretty close to us. I know we got some kids that are some district lines shared there. Last year we played them. They were a pretty good team. Played them really tough. That was definitely a winnable game for us last year. This year they're 7-1. Fighting for the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Got a great quarterback in Chandler Burks. Got a first-year head coach at Custer moved over from South Cobb. So it's going to be a big test for us, but I know we're going to be at home to finish the season. It's going to be senior night. Our kids know a lot of their kids. Our coaches know a lot of their coaches. So it's going to be a big game. We're going to want to, obviously we want to win every game, but we really want this one just because of the geographic rivalry there. And we got, besides going for the win, obviously, we have the opportunity for our featured back, Thomasia, to reach 1,000 yards. He's at 87 yards away, and if he does reach that milestone, I mean, can you reflect back to a time when this school has had a 1,000-yard rusher?
It probably goes back to maybe Brian Dixon, I'm guessing. Played for Coach Sauls, but I know he had a big game, had 300 yards rushing a game, so I'm assuming that he got 1,000 that year. But besides that, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's been 6 years. Go back year before that, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years
Right.
ago, maybe almost a decade. That's Thomas is a big, hard physical back that, and really runs the ball well. Personally, for Thomas, I'd like to see him get that. Obviously, for us, I'd like to see him get that because he's coming back
Right.
as a junior. That's one of the things we talk about. It's a process of doing that thing. That he's better and better and better, and I hope that he achieves that as a goal, because that's one of the goals I know he has for himself. Because it's one of the good things about football. It's an individual. It's a team sport wrapped amongst individuals who have to perform, and I think he's definitely done that. In South Paulding too. That's we talk about mentally. Our kids. Really since I've been there, we've played South Paulding very close, and we want beaten them since I've been there. We've been in one-score games with them on several occasions. And that's where you say, how does that happen? When your kids believe it, that's what happens.
Right.
Our kids think they can beat them, and they can play with them. And for whatever reason, I don't know why they've you've chosen South Paulding, but I just talk about mentally. That's where we got to keep going with all teams, all the time. I think that'll happen. I think it's going to be a good game. I think our seniors will play. They're realizing they're their last game. Always an emotional game. It's least favorite game for your coach is the last game you play with your seniors. You've invested a lot of time with them. You see them more than your children
Right.
during the season, and they cry. I'm gonna cry. It's pretty tough because you've wrapped so much of those kids. You want them to be because you see last time you're gonna see them do that, and for a lot of the kids, that's the last time they're gonna put the pads on ever.
Right, and I know a couple of our kids have already kind of started, or seniors started referencing that they can't believe it's coming to an end, and they're really looking forward to it. Want to go out with a win. And another thing we have going for us is that we have a lot of confidence going into this game because just like going into the North, we had beat them at the freshman level and the JV level, and in the past 2 weeks, our freshmen and our JV have defeated South on both levels by a score of 102-26. So our kids are confident, that we could score points on these guys. We're going to see the same kind of defense we've seen at those levels. So the confidence level should be high going into that. And so we definitely have the opportunity to score points and in the season on a high note, moving forward.
Yeah, and that's that's we talk about the growth of the program, getting used to beating people. I think the thing is probably not saying to do this, but you sort of have to control a dog. You whip a puppy. You watch go out there, and I've got 2 dogs at home. One's 140 pounds, and the 8-pound schnauzer runs out there and runs him around the yard like it's very confusing. But as a puppy, she was a little bit bigger than him, and could tell him what to do, and so he just thinks, oh, that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And that's what we've tried to tell the guys. It's important to win at those younger levels. It's like our 8th grade's playing a lot of confidence. Beat Hillgrove. And, only lost a guy, so it's a Hiram team, but they've beaten South, and and when it becomes a habit, it's it's a big deal. It's like I talk about. I coach wrestling, so I wrestle with kids when they're freshmen, and we got a kid, Chris Rowan, who's a very successful collegiate wrestler at heavyweight, and we got to the point when he finally figured out he could beat me. I decided I didn't need to wrestle him anymore, but for like 2 years into college, I could wrestle with Chris, and and they had no business doing that, but because we wrestled, I drilled with him every day in high school. He wasn't sure that he's thinking of Chris the kid and Coach Hamiton the man, and now it's Chris the man and Coach Hamiton the old man, and it's hard. It just takes away some mentality.
Right.
It's hard to get through that, and you can watch team after team after team that get snake bit.
Right.
I can't tell me how many Ohio State coaches were fired because they couldn't beat Michigan. But they didn't think they could do it.
Right.
Yeah, mentally it's tougher than physically. It's easy for me to get the kids in the weight room. Hey, lift weights. It must be stronger. Done it. Hey, let's go out here and practice hard. We've done it. Let's compete. Practice. We've done that. Okay, now you got to believe in yourself. And it's why it's faith is the hardest thing to grow. Everything from people's church life to everything else is that's a tough thing to do. And if that was easy, that everybody in the world could be a coach and a psychologist and fix people mentally. But that's tough. That's the by far the toughest part of coaching. And a lot of other things are just a matter of if you're willing to work. You can fix those things. Like I said, we had two of our, Thomas Parkland, 215 pounds the other day. I think Brandon Ballard, our nose guard, who's had a fantastic season.
And we'll be back next year.
Yes, he'll be in for maybe I think he'll be up for running for region. Defensive player of the year in the region. Parkland at 25 pounds. Why? Because we get him in the weight room to lift weights, and they're pretty sure they figure out how to do that, but. Getting that kid to believe, hey, we're going to go there and beat that team, in silver and black, or
right.
Or whatever colors they may wear. That mentally that's tough, right. And that's if you played any sort of athletics, that's hard to. It's a hard thing to do, like personally, I've done an MMA fight, not my brightest thing, but I remember sparring with some guys thinking, that guy's look at that guy over there, he's going to murder me, and then until you feel like, well, I can do this. It's hard. It's a hard thing to do. Right. To build that confidence, and that's the same thing with kids. And I think our freshmen and JV teams have sort of got that. They figured it out a little bit. They compete and play hard, and that's one thing I'm very proud of them. They both we hit a middle stretch right there where we lost a game or two. It was both the games we lost right there were in a row, but they popped back to come back and finish strong. The freshmen lost to a tough East Paulding team and lost Rome's JV, but then they come back to roll off, beating Altoona and South back-to-back was a huge win for them.
And big wins, both of those.
Yes.
Large margins.
Scored a bunch of points and played good defense. And that's the thing where we're trying to fix, is getting the kids to believe, hey, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. That's something every day you have to start up with. And so hopefully those things will carry over next year. I'm excited about the. You always say that each year you get to sit down and reflect and do some self-reflecting. I try to meet with y'all as a staff and talk about that and say how can we get better next year and stuff. And where's the program? Let's compare the program this now to last year, and we're definitely ahead and moving in the right direction. But it just takes it takes a long time to turn that around. Right. But I think Paulding County's on the way back. I think they told the kids last night. Very excited about what's going to happen next year. But right now, I want to, we're focusing on finishing this last game out. And I always tell the kids, you want to finish what you started. With our kids, one time, it's hard to explain to them in life. That's something you got to do. You can't say, hey, I got another job and quit 3 weeks and not get paid. Right. You got to finish this job to get the next job. You got to, whatever you're doing, because in life a lot of times that's something kids have missed out on. They see their parents get divorced. They see this and that because a lot of people spend a lot of their life going, well, the next best thing, that over there, that's what I need to do. This over here, that's what I need to do. Hey, I'm married, but this next marriage is going better. Oh, this job right here, that next job will be better. Right. And that's not how it is. You got to finish what you start, and that's something I constantly try to preach to the kids. And it's tough. It's tough. You guys. I know you're about some. Thomas and Brandon Interstate ranked wrestlers. They need to finish football before they go to wrestling. Because once again, that's a habit, and it's something that you carry on. You can't be. Most of the times, the kids that are good students, or they're going to work hard on the field too. Kids that are bad students, a lot of times they're not the. That's one thing that's always bothered me. Stereotypically, the kids while they're out there, they're not saying they're all, they're not all rocket science or Einstein, but they're good students. They're learning things and doing right in the classroom, which equates on the football field. It's hard to be bad in one area and good in the next. Right. So hopefully that's something we can translate this last week and go ahead. Great week of practice.
All right. Well, in conclusion, on Friday, November 1st, we're going to end our season. We're going to end on a positive note to springboard into to the next season. So everyone out there, it's going to be a great game, great atmosphere, senior night, 2 county rivals. You're going to see 2 great teams go at it, great offense with South spread offense, our offense as well, running the triple option, got a great fullback. It'll be a fun atmosphere, see 2 great teams go at it. It'll be a great night, and we hope to see y'all there, and we'll talk to y'all next week.